Hi, this is Gerard Leary at WCAT, and took a sabbatical for a couple of years, but I'm back now, and we're going to be drawing probably a couple of times a month here at the studio at WCAT, and I also have been teaching at the Chelsea Senior Center and at the East Boston Senior Center, and I'll be going back to UMass probably later in the spring. But we're going to do at least a couple of hours a month. And I brought in some material that I'll show you in just a minute. No, I'll show you right now. If you're going to get involved in drawing, this is Strathmore colored pencil paper. It's about 30 sheets. And that probably cost about $14. It's the biggest expense you're going to have, and it's going to last you 2 or 3 months. The reason I ask to get this paper is it's because drawing paper has something which is called a tooth, which means that it can accept a lot more pigment, a lot more layers than, let's say, copier paper. You wouldn't use copier paper to do painting, and you wouldn't use copier paper to do drawing. Strathmore is the name to get. It's the best you can get. Everything else you can buy Crayola, colored pencils. You can buy erasers. You can go to CVS and Walgreens and Target. You can buy all those things at those supermarkets. But I'm just going to show you a few more things that I like. This is, I always forget the name, Stadler. This is a German company that makes colored pencils. And I use these all the time. I think this was about $13, and you get 48, you get 24, I'm reading upside down. 24 colored pencils, really, really good. These are called blenders, and what they are is rolled up cardboard, and when you open them up, you can blend in the colors with the cardboard. But you can also use paper towels, you can use Q-tips, anything that would absorb and take the pigment. This is Prismacolor. This is an American company, really, really good. And this is a really good pencil sharpener. It's good to get a good pencil sharpener because if you don't have a good one, the plastics one will break the points off the pencils. And even though you spent not a lot for a plastic pencil sharpener, you're going to be replacing pencils a lot sooner. Good to get. I make a lot of mistakes. Erasers, for me, are just as important as pencils are. You can improve with erasers. A lot of people, oh, I make mistakes. No, you're making improvements. And the last thing is, this is Faber-Castell, one of the great, great names in art, and certainly in pencils. This is a graphite pencil kit. These guys are also from Stein, Germany. The products are sensational. I spent $72 on all this stuff. This will last me 10 months, and I draw almost every day. So it's shot money. You don't have to spend that much money. Get the good paper. See if you can get the colored pencils at CVS or Walgreens. Or the other thing is just go online and type in colored pencil drawing. What's that? You know, you'll come down with all kind of different programs, pricing, manufacturers, who has the best products. You don't have to buy expensive products to start off with, but it's always good to get good products, particularly the paper. And that's it from the materials. I just want to talk to you about my goals and what I hope WCAT's goals are too. We want to encourage people to take advantage of this station. It is a great resource for Winthrop. And I wish people would take advantage of it. There's a lot more happening with all kind of different things that are happening everywhere else with television. And we can do a lot here. We can certainly do a lot with the drawing program. And the drawing program is not for just anyone. It's not for kids. It's not for housewives. It's for everybody. Everyone who wants to try it And people say to me, I'm afraid. I don't think I could draw. Well, were you afraid to learn how to walk or talk? No, you just did it. Were little kids afraid to learn how to draw? No, they just did it. As adults, we get fearful. We don't think we can do things. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can do this. I see it all the time where people come in and, I don't think I can do this. And then after about 5 or 6 weeks, I tell them to put their work up on the refrigerator, sign it, date it, and put it in the fridge. And then over the holidays, people will come into your house and go, who's the artist? And they say, well, I'm the artist. Now they have this identity as an artist, and it gives them more confidence. So I encourage everyone to come on in. That's my spiel for today. We're going to start off with drawing. First of all, I just want to show you. I'm going to try to do something like this. Not today. Can you get that picture at all? Yeah, it's kind of a tough angle. I don't know if we can. Is that any better? So this is a Bernese mountain dog that we drew in the class. It looks complicated. It looks very difficult, but over a period of 5 or 6 weeks, we're going to break it down, and I can show you how you can do this. And you will be amazed at how good you really are. Just give yourself a shot. Okay, so that's that. We're going to start off with doing something pretty simple. I don't know, is this the right place to show you that apple? Does that look okay? Okay. We're going to try drawing this apple. It's very simple. And I hope we can do something over my shoulder when I'm drawing. I hope that's going to work. I'm going to start off with, these happen to be Faber-Castell. This is an HB pencil or a number 2 pencil. The type of pencil that you would have in school, number 2 or HB pencil. And the way we start this is, we're going to do this. So we're going to start by just doing a circle. Again, if I don't like the circle, I'm going to break open an eraser and I'm going to erase what I don't like. But so far it's so good. So if you have just regular paper and a number 2 pencil at the house, then that's all you need. We're just going to start you off this way. But whatever you do today, I want you to tape it onto your refrigerator so people can see. And call your friends and tell them what you're doing. We want a lot of people in Winthrop to get involved in this. My goal is to have 300 people taking this course. And, it's winter. There's not a lot to do outside, at least for the time being. Spend an hour and a half, 2 hours a week drawing. You're going to love it. You really are. And what I recommend is I play music when I draw. And we're not playing any music today, but maybe I'll throw on some music if it's okay with the guys in the booth there. Sorry, I should have had this all done. But anyway, just bear with me for 1 second. All right. You guys can see I drew that circle. I'm going to redraw it. And I'm going to erase some of the stuff that I drew the first time. That's why the eraser is an improver. It's not about mistakes, it's about improving. Now, we have the circle. We're going to draw this curved line. Does that show up? You can see that curved line, okay? Now we're going to do the stem, And the stem comes from a reservoir. And then we're going to do a leaf. So once we do the leaf, we're going to erase this part right here. I hope everyone, you can see this okay, because we don't have an overhead camera yet, but we're going to get one. It takes a while, but we're going to try to do the best we can with what we're doing right now. So what we have, I should leave it the way I had it. What we have is the circle for the apple, the line, which creates the reservoir, the depth of where the stem has come out of. And then off the stem, we have a leaf. And a leaf has veins. So we're just going to draw in a main vein and then smaller veins off of it. Again, we're doing this in number 2 pencil because it's the very first time a lot of our viewers have seen colored pencil drawing. We just want to make sure that they're understanding. I'm going to go to a little bit of a darker pencil. It's called a number 2 pencil, but you can stay right with what you're drawing. If you have a regular HB pencil or a number 2 pencil, you're fine. Watch how I hold the pencil too. I hold it back a little bit. Not like when you're writing in school like that, but I hold it back so you get a lot more better range of motion. And you can do the side of the pen. So the shadow, the light source would be coming this way, and the shadow is on the right-hand side. And also, we're going to create a shadow of the stem. And you'll go, well, how does that work? Well, it's going to work perfectly once we start to get everything in motion here. Having shadows, casting shadows, just adds more to the realism. And I'll show you what I mean by that. That shadow is darker than the stem because the light is coming from this direction. I can draw the light. It's coming from that direction. Now, right at the base of the stem, we want to make that area dark. Because in an apple, it's called the reservoir. That's where the stem comes out of. It's an indentation in the apple itself. So now you see, you get a sense of the depth with those lines. They're dark right there, and gradually I'm going to make them lighter as we get up. And I'm going to take one of those blenders in a minute. And you'll see how the gradation, the change in tone, in color, adds value to the drawing. You'll go, oh yeah, there's a real depth to that. It's the angle that I'm drawing at. We're creating that sense of depth. Right on the top, we'll do a little bit up here. And the stem that goes out to the leaf, you can do however you want, but this is just some of the basic techniques. This is some of the illusion that is created in drawing to give a sense of curvature to depth. Now you see, I think you guys can see okay, there is the stem coming out of the top of the apple, and it looks like it's coming from a hole or a reservoir. And what adds to that is the shadow that's created because of the light coming from this way. I want to make sure everything is perfecto. The other thing is you get a reflection, and this is kind of a cool way to create that square would also reflect light coming from this way, like something coming from the front looking at the apple. I'm just taking this number 2 HB pencil on its side and just rolling it circular so I don't create any additional lines. Now what are we? We're just a few minutes in. We're doing okay. Then I'm going to make a little difference on the depth. So we can see how all that has been established, the shadowing, the depth, how the leaf works. I'm just going to take some of these blenders. So this is a blender. What is a blender? A blender is a rolled up piece of cardboard. And you can use it, it blends the pigment together, but when you use it and it's soiled on the tip, you can just transfer whatever's on the tip onto a working piece of paper, and the pigment will come off, and then it'll be clean again. So I'm just going to work very gently. All it is it's blending the pigment. And you can be very selective about what you want to get blended and what you don't. Remember, you can use these blenders over and over again. It's just that you have to make sure that that tip, that pigment gets transferred onto a scrap piece of paper so the tip becomes clean again. Only took me a year to learn that, but I'm not exactly a Jeopardy contestant. Now, we're going to go to the leaf, and very softly, very light pressure, because we want the veins to show through. That just adds value to what we have. And if I think something could be better, you can use an eraser to lighten up something that you think, well, maybe that's too dark. You can do that. That's where the eraser becomes a tool. Like so many artists, I know a lot of artists, and they don't ever seem, oh, it's not finished. It's not exactly what I want to do or how it should be. They're perfectionists. And they just want something to be perfect. And Lord knows I'm not perfect. I can't even open stuff. Okay, so that's what we've done so far. So am I showing this the right way, or should I be showing it this way? I'm not sure. It's good? Okay. So you can see both things. So now on the outside of the apple it seems to be a little bit darker. So notice how I'm holding the pencil towards the end, because it gives me a much greater range of motion. And you all wrote as kids, and you get that what is called writer's cramp, because your fingers and your thumb are like that, and that's the way you're taught to write. But drawing is a totally different way to do things. So again, this is black and white. You know, this is a lot about creating value, how things look. And that value can be as much as the side of the leaf. Because once you start to draw, you're going to start to see things that you may not have been aware of before. Okay. And I'm just looking at certain areas of the apple and how the lines work. Because we want to create that curvature. And you don't do it with straight lines, you do it with curved lines. Again, you just take your time. If you're not happy with what you've done, pick up your friend the eraser and erase what you don't like and improve. So it's not a negative. It's a tool to improve. Sounds like Trump would say that. We're not getting political. Is this showing up okay? Good. Now here's the trick. This is a reflection. And it just means that, like if the apple were shined, because they do polish apples, I think. They don't with pumpkins, but they do with apples. I think they put wax on them. So we want to make the contrast between the whiteness of the reflection and the darkness of the apple itself. And eventually that'll work in. It's all about contrast between light and dark when you're drawing, whether it's color or graphite. We're doing graphite. And to make something be able to blend better, you can gradually work the color, work the color in so there's not a big contrast. You have the contrast between the dark and the light, but then we'll just extend the dark a little bit. We'll blend it all out. I don't go too high up on the top of the apple. This is kind of like the first layer we're putting in. And we'll probably blend the first layer. But we want to establish those lines of curvature so you really get a sense that this thing is round. And the way you do that is by creating a plane. I hope that's showing up okay. You can do little lines like that. Now it's starting to, I'm seeing it's starting to come into itself a lot more. Doesn't have to be pressure at all. Less is more sometimes. It just has to be nice, and easygoing. There's no pressure. I hope a lot of retired people start drawing. I really would like to see all my friends down at Dunkin' Donuts on Revere Street. I'd really like to see them draw. Because when I'm in there having coffee, if I'm not talking to people, I'm drawing. And people will come over to the table and go, oh, what are you drawing? And I'll tell them, and then I'll say, well, we're going to have a class, a show on WCAT starting this Wednesday. Oh, can I watch? I said, absolutely. Just check the station for listings. Because I don't think it'll be on immediately, but it'll be on soon. Or if you want to come to the classes up at East Boston, you can do that too. So I hope you can see the plane of lines, the curvature, because we want this apple to come out with some nice lines. It's really starting to shape up. I'm pretty happy with what we have. But pencil drawing or colored pencil drawing is about layering and blending. So we're going to blend this first layer. Again, I have the brand new blender, and it has graphite on it. So I can use the same thing over again. All this is doing is blending in the pigment into the paper, because this paper, as I told you, has tooth and it accepts a lot of pigment, whereas copier paper is just flat. It's not designed for drawing. It's designed for copying. And if our viewers have any questions, you can reach me at my email. It would be lowercase letters, Gerard, Gerard, number 44, numerical number 44, lowercase letters, Hillsdale, HILLSDALE, at Gmail. Gerard 44 Hillsdale at Gmail. Okay, some of the contrasts are going to show up pretty well. The leaf is a lot lighter than the apple. The reservoir is a lot darker than everything else. I think it's coming out pretty good. I think we're achieving a lot of the illusion that we wanted to create. In art, there's a lot of optical illusion. And here we created the depth, the shadow, the reflection, and the curvature. Just all techniques. I'm going to take this eraser and just draw some lines, just curve lines through it. See what happens. I can fill those in. If I think something is too much. I would give myself about an A- on this. It came out pretty good. And my goal was to show some of the illusion that you can create. with simply a piece of toothed paper, not copy paper, toothed paper, some good quality pens, pencils, eraser, and a blender. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more to this. An apple doesn't have to be just all monochromatic, one color or one tone. There's a lot that can be shown. Because if you look at it, I had an apple here somewhere. Okay. I didn't bring this up because we weren't drawing in color, but I don't know if you can see. You can see the reflection on this. They wax these apples. They do something to them. And this is a Macintosh, which is my favorite because it's got green and yellow. And it has a reservoir, but the stem is not very long. I love these to eat because they're just tart. They're really, really nice. So you'll see a lot of the reflection of light, and that has to do with the wax. That's what this should be. And if this is not bright enough, we'll brighten it up. Again, if you're watching, I really appreciate you letting me know what you think of the program so far. And if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And we may be, we're considering this, is having people come in the studio to watch the program itself. It's not a done deal, but it's something that we're thinking about doing. Once you finish with the leaf, you just want to go over what you drew and put in those veins again so they become distinguished. If you're not sure about how the apple looks, I have a brush that I brush off. Here it is right here. I just brush off the carbon with. I'm sorry I didn't have it right with me. But it's really a good thing to do. The other thing that we're going to add a little drama to this drawing is we're going to put it, make a shadow underneath it. How do you do that? See that? I'm going to take a darker pencil. You don't have to do this, but this is a 6B pencil. If you buy that kit, you've got a lot of different angles. So what you want to do is come as close to the apple as you can. I'm just going to turn it around to do this. I wear a glove sometimes. This happens to be a Santa Claus glove. But I use this, and I'm left-handed, so I get it on the wrong hand, so I can stop smudging, because this stuff will really smudge it up, the carbon. You'll become aware of that when you see your paper all smudged up. That's where erasers come in. Or you can fold a piece of paper, like if you took a piece of paper like that, and just so your hand is not smudging. Because there's nothing on the paper that would transfer. Tricks of the trade. And this is a softer pencil, so the graphite is softer, but it's darker. Hardness is lighter. They're rated as like 2H. Is it 2H? I don't know if you can see that very well. And in a B, that's kind of neutral. And then 2B, 4B, 6B. Those are softer graphite, darker, almost like charcoal. So if I do this right, again, if you make a mistake, it's okay. That's where you have the eraser for. I'm going to try cranking out some music because we have some time. So there it is. Do you see how the shadow works? That's an apple, I would say maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes. That's a pretty good looking apple. And I think it showed a lot of the technique that I employed. And I think I tried to explain those pretty simply to you. Again, if you're working with graphite, you're going to get it on the palm of your hand, the outside of your palm, and it's going to smear everything. So I'm lefty. It's a curse, but I wouldn't want to be any other way. Do you know, I was watching Tiger Woods yesterday, and he was teaching people how to hit the ball. And he's a really great teacher. And one of the things that he said to these, they were young kids like his son's age, the most important thing to do in golf, as in everything, is to follow through. Just follow through. Do what you're doing. If you're drawing, if you make a mistake, follow through. Use the eraser. I use erasers more than anyone I know. But things get better. Don't give up. Whatever you do, don't give up trying to do this, because this is going to give you enormous satisfaction. For those people who are retired, it's going to give them a new zest for living. It really, really will. I am 78. I was 78 December 30th, and I started drawing when I was 60, so that's 18 years ago. Look at what happened. In 18 years, I came to draw at the library. I taught myself how to draw, which I want to pass that on to you guys, that you guys can do this. You guys can learn and become artists. Doesn't matter what age. There's a woman in my class in Chelsea. She's 104 years of age. 104. And I sit with her all the time because she's really, really interesting. And she gets all dressed up and have her hair done. And her daughter, who's 75, picks her up because the woman who's 104 lives independently. And the daughter, who's 75, drives her to the senior center. I'm honored to meet someone who is 104, because at 78, I'm a kid. I'm just learning. And there is this woman who, she's amazing. Every day is an amazing thing with her. So please, people in my age bracket, do not give up. Try it. Go to the senior centers. They have all kind of guitar lessons, line dancing, Latin dancing, watercolors. I'm going to try to get a couple of people who teach down at East Boston to come in and maybe do a couple of courses. A couple of my artist friends maybe come in and do just a introductory watercolor drawing class. A couple of ladies who I taught are very, 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 very good artists. So I hope they will do come in and do something like that. So anyway, I think that's all I wanted to do for today. That is a basic apple in black and white, HB color, 2B color, and a 6B graphite, I'm sorry. You can do this. We're going to show it to you a couple of times in the course of a couple of more weeks. Please watch the schedule and sit down, take some time off. Shut off the view. It's a lousy program. Don't even watch it. And draw. Draw 2 or 3 times a week. And I'm going to tell you right now, you'll get to be this good in about 5 or 6 weeks, but you have to give it time. Your eye is going to get more acute in what you see. You're going to feel more comfortable with the pencils. Make sure you get this good paper. The pencils, you don't have to spend a lot of money on, but you really need to get good paper. You're wasting your time if you get copy paper, because you wouldn't paint with copy paper, so you wouldn't draw with it either. So that is it for this session. Thank you. It's great to be back here at WCAT with my friends. And I hope you enjoyed the show. And please give me an email at Gerard, 44 Hillsdale, HILLSDALE, @gmail.com. Thanks, and see you next time.